the defense doesn't have to present any evidence, correct?
Correct. The defense does not need to present any evidence.
Today's case out of Texas is all about whether a driver, Jordan Davis, was really trying to run from police or just trying to find a safe place to pull over. The state says he was evading arrest. The defense says he was being cautious and following the driver's handbook. The judge will have to decide, was this evading or just common sense driving?
Court is calling 2024 CR 5244, State of Texas versus Jordan Davis. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
Good morning, Judge Alfonso Cabañas for Mr. Davis.
And are you Mr. Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Davis, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Jordan Elijah Davis.
All right, Mr. Davis, you do realize that you have a right to a jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's the court has received a waiver of trial by jury and you're asking to proceed with a bench trial. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that means that I will hear whatever evidence is presented and make a decision on whether you're guilty or not guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, did you go over this waiver of trial by jury with your client and do you believe he understood it?
Yes, Your Honor, we reviewed it yesterday. He signed it yesterday, and it is his desire to enter into a bench trial.
And state you signed the waiver of a trial by jury as well? All right, the court will find that the waiver of trial by jury has been voluntarily given and signed by the defendant and also signed by the state and the defense. State, you may proceed.
In the name and by authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Adair County, state of Texas, duly organized and paneled and sworn as such at the March term AE 2024 of the 187th Judicial District Court of said county in said court at said term do present in and to said court that in the county and state aforesaid and anterior to the presentment of this indictment on or about the 4th day of March 2024, Jordan Davis, hereinafter referred to as defendant, while using a vehicle, did intentionally flee from a person, namely S. Enriquez, a person the defendant knew was a peace officer who was attempting lawfully to arrest and detain the defendant against the peace and dignity of the state.
How do you plead to that?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
All right. Any opening statements?
Yes, Your Honor, very briefly.
All right, you may proceed.
What the evidence will show is that this is not the most egregious evading in a vehicle case that this court will encounter. The evidence will show that Mr. Davis did not speed egregiously, did not weave in and out of traffic. It will only show that when Deputy Enriquez activated his patrol vehicle's emergency overhead lights to lawfully detain Mr. Davis, that Mr. Davis did not give prompt attention and stop when signaled. That is plain in a vehicle. It's not the worst, but it's still what he did. And after the court hears the evidence, the court should find him guilty of the offense.
Defense, any openings?
Yes, Your Honor. In the rush to judgment, Your Honor, the state gives themselves an added burden.
Yeah, boy.
Already high burden. For example, whereas the Texas Penal Code 3804, evading arrest or detention, states that
I'm sorry, just one moment. Excuse me, on the back row. You all are talking too loud and you need to just ask the deputy to move you all to the other end. All right, I'm sorry. Could you start with the code section you're citing, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Texas Penal Code 3804 that talks about evading arrest or detention. The code states that a person commits an offense if he intentionally flees from a person he knows is a peace officer or federal special investigator, attempting lawfully to arrest or detain him. The added burden that the state has given themselves this morning is that the indictment says, and I'm paraphrasing, a person the defendant knew was a peace officer who was attempting lawfully to arrest and detain him. So the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this officer had to arrest and detain the defendant. Number one. Number two, Your Honor, you'll see from the video that at no point in time was Mr. Jordan Davis doing anything remotely coming close to evading arrest or detention. Not even fleeing. You'll see from the video that at all times, Mr. Davis was driving either at the speed limit or below. He wasn't weaving within traffic. He wasn't causing any accidents. He wasn't turning off his lights or causing a high-speed chase. At one point during the follow, Your Honor, Mr. Jordan Davis goes so much as to turn on the hazard lights to let the officer know where he's at and that he is looking for a place to park. And this is important because you'll see in the video that during the 2 miles that the stop is Mr. Davis is trying to find for a safe place to stop, he's in a construction zone. He's not going, or he doesn't stop in an area that's safe to him. He eventually stops in an area that is safe, well lit, and away from traffic. It may not be to the officer's liking that it took him 2 miles to stop, but nonetheless, at no point in time was Mr. Davis doing anything remotely close to fleeing. He wasn't doing anything remotely close to evading arrest or detention. The evidence will show the court that, again, Mr. Davis wasn't speeding, wasn't weaving, he wasn't driving while intoxicated, he wasn't dashing in through the traffic to avoid the officer. He was simply looking for a safe, well-lit place to stop, which he did.
All right, state, call your first witness.
Please call Deputy Enriquez.
All right, Deputy Enriquez.
Down in the hall.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. All right, and everyone, we'll bring you back at 1:30. Oh, if you all would like to, you can take a seat, or either we can remain up here. My understanding, it's one witness.
I'm fine up here, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. If you'll take a seat, please. Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record, please.
Deputy Stephen Enriquez.
All right, state.
Deputy Enriquez, who are you currently employed?
With the Beard County Sheriff's Office.
Can I get you to take this? And Cindy, do you need a microphone for the? All right, thank you.
Judge Mike Pyatt.
Oh, you talking to Cruz.
Okay.
All right, if you all want to sit, you can sit. If you want to stand up here, you can stand up here. All right, state, it's your witness.
Reporter, do you need me to repeat my last question?
I have how I'm employed.
All right, Deputy Enriquez, please answer the last question.
Yes, I'm employed with the Beard County Sheriff's Office
As well.
as a deputy sheriff on patrol.
How long have you been employed with Bear County Sheriff's Office?
Going on 7 years.
And on March 4th, 2024, how were you employed?
As a deputy sheriff on patrol.
And on March 4th, 2024, what were your patrol duties?
Just patrolling the district of Delta 30, which is commonly the Culebra area, searching for crime prevention and responding to calls for service.
The district of Delta 30, is that in Bear County?
Yes, sir.
And what was the time of your patrol?
From 11 p.m. until 7 a.m.
And at approximately 0:35 hours, 35 minutes after midnight, did you see a vehicle that caught your attention?
Yes, sir.
What vehicle was that? If you recall.
I don't recall right now, but I do have the report here if I can refer back to that.
Please do.
Judge, I would ask the witness be instructed to refresh his memory from the report, not read verbatim.
All right, officer, you're allowed to refresh your memory from the report, but do not read directly from it.
It was a red four-door vehicle.
And what about that vehicle caught your attention?
As it was approaching me, it did have its high beams on, and it had 3 lights on instead of all 4.
Which light was not on?
It was the passenger side and the outside.
Was that the headlight?
Yes, sir, correct.
So after perceiving the high beams on and the headlight out, how did you proceed?
I conducted a U-turn as the subject was going the opposite direction of myself, and I proceeded to catch up to that vehicle as it was ahead of another vehicle.
And did you activate your patrol vehicle's emergency overhead lights?
At that time, I did not because it was coming up to a red light, and I didn't want to have conduct a traffic stop over the active red light.
What happened next?
I pulled up next to the vehicle just to see if the vehicle had a seatbelt on or anything like that, and I did do a inquiry into the vehicle's license plate.
What did you learn?
Everything was up to date as far as the insurance and the registration. All I had was the defective equipment at that point in time, along with the traffic. Transportation violation with driving with the high beams on.
Did the light eventually turn green?
Yes, sir, it did. At that point, I got behind the vehicle and activated my emergency lights, which activates my fleet camera.
Now, your fleet camera, does it begin recording when you turn on your emergency overhead lights?
It does, but it also records 30 seconds prior with no audio.
Understood. Permission to approach your own?
Granted.
Deputy. Showing you what is marked in state exhibit 1. Do you recognize this?
Yes, sir, I do.
Can you tell the court what it is?
It's the body-worn camera to my front dash.
And how do you know that it is?
It states it on there along with my signature.
Have you reviewed this? Have you reviewed the contents of this disc?
Yes, sir, I have.
And to the best of your knowledge, have there been any alterations or edits to it?
No, sir.
And is it a true and accurate depiction of the events that were recorded by that device on that date?
Yes, sir.
Permission to tender to defense counsel for inspection.
Your Honor, no objection to states number 1.
All right, State's Exhibit number 1 is admitted without objection.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Granted.
At this point in the recording, have you activated your emergency overhead lights?
Yes, sir, I have.
Did you at any point activate any other signals that indicate to this vehicle that you initiated a detention?
Yes, sir. As it passed multiple spots to pull over, that's when I activated my audible siren just to catch his attention.
Now, I'm stopping here. What to the left of this intersection did you see?
It was an empty road that he could have pulled over to the left or to the right.
Was it lit?
No, sir.
Now, Deputy, do you see these buildings
Yes.
in the recording? What are
Yes. It's a shopping center with a gas station and a McDonald's.
in your opinion, is it well lit?
Yes, sir.
From this intersection, are those buildings accessible to your vehicle?
Yes, sir. There was also an accessible right there between the break and the barriers, so a dirt road to go into that establishment.
And do you see additional buildings here?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what those buildings were?
That's a car wash.
So the vehicle that you're following turns. Could this vehicle have access these buildings
gonna object to
to the left or the right?
Object to speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Would you have been able to access these buildings to either the left or your right?
Yes, sir.
Now, these buildings to the left, can you tell us what those are?
Those were apartment complexes.
And do you consider this to be a well-lit area based off of what you experienced?
Yes, sir.
Now, these lights here,
Yes, sir.
what is this area?
That's an elementary street.
Was it accessible to you at this intersection?
Yes, sir.
And based on what you can see, is this a well-lit area?
Yes.
Now, what lights do you see on this road?
No.
But at this point, have you passed the elementary school?
Yes.
Now, as you turn right at this intersection, what is that?
There's going to be a subdivision that's barely under construction and another school.
So the subdivision at this time was not yet occupied because its construction was not yet complete.
Correct.
Deputy, what lights do you see?
No.
Oh, do you see lights here?
I see lights to the back, that's a part of another subdivision that's already in the process of being built, and then the school on the right.
But you don't see any street.
No, sir, correct.
Now, deputy, did the vehicle eventually come to a stop?
Yes, sir.
Did you contact the operator of that vehicle?
I did from a distance. At the time, he did not.
Eventually, did he identify himself, or did you identify him?
Yes, sir, I did.
Which one?
He identified himself. Once he found out he was under arrest, I did after his name did.
And how did he identify himself?
Vocally.
What did you say his name was?
Jordan Davis.
And do you see the person that you arrested in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir, I do.
Would you please point that person out by their position in the courtroom and by a particular article of claim?
Sir, he's standing to the left of the judge in a black pant and white shirt.
Thank you. And just to reiterate, all of the events, did they occur in Bear County?
Yes, sir, he did.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Judge. Officer Enriquez, good morning. Good morning. My name is Alfonso Cabañas. I'm going to be asking you some questions. I'm going to start off by asking you some questions that came about from the state's questions to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, can I go
Yes.
watch the video?
Sure. And the mouse should still be there.
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, Alfonso, do you have on the microphone for the court reporter? Thank you. It's so she can hear it through her headphones.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me? So starting State's Exhibit number 1, officer, at 2 seconds, just to make sure I have my notes correct. At this point in the video, this is the dash cam from your patrol car.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And my client's car is to your immediate left.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You told the court that, and it's in your report, that the reason for the stop was that my client did not have the 4 headlamps. Is that correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
Now, which transportation code are you referring to when you're talking about the 4 headlamp
Would
requirement?
be transportation code 547, which would be the maintenance of the equipment. Specifically for the headlights would be 547.333, which is turning off your headlamps from the brightness 500 feet upon approaching other vehicle.
Wait, but let's go on a second because you're jumping the gun a little bit. Your reason for the stop, and according to your testimony, was that my client did not have the 4 headlamps, right? So, and we'll get into the brights in a little bit, but your testimony was that he had 3 functioning headlights, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, are you familiar with Transportation Code 547.321?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 547.321, correct me if I'm wrong, states that a motor vehicle shall be equipped with at least 2 headlamps. It doesn't talk about 4 or 3, just 2,
Sir.
right? And in Mr. Davis's case, he had not only 2, he had 3 functioning headlights,
Correct.
right? Hold on, we'll get there in a second. Okay, so now that we know he has 3 functioning headlights, okay, your testimony is that you did a U-turn. So in other words, your dash cam recording of these 3 functioning headlamps is not on this dash cam. Correct? Did you not record that?
From the way our dash cam is mounted, there's only 2 ways to activate it. That's by turning on our emergency lights or reaching over, which is across from my computer, and activating
No.
it manually.
I get it, but very simply, that wasn't recorded, right? Okay,
Correct.
all right. Now, well, if you look at this video, right here, Officer Enriquez, you told the court that as you drove parallel to my client's car, you were checking to make sure that my client had what he's supposed to when somebody is driving, right?
Yes.
So you correctly stated that my client had a seatbelt on, right? I think you told the court that you ran his license plates, correct?
Correct.
And there was no warrants coming out for him,
Correct.
right? The car rightfully belonged to Mr. Davis, correct?
Correct. Actually, no, it belonged to, family members.
Family.
His mother.
Okay, but it wasn't identified as a stolen vehicle.
Correct.
Right? According to you, the backlights or the tail lamps, excuse me, were working just properly, correct? Okay. And so at this point, I think you also indicated that while you're parallel to him, Mr. Davis is not exceeding the speed limits, correct?
Correct.
He's not weaving in and out of traffic, right? He certainly does not almost hit you or caught you.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Now, starting the video at 2 seconds, now I'm gonna try to jump to the parts that the state asked you about. Stopping the video at 1:47 Officer Enriquez. This is, according to you, a shopping center to your left,
Correct.
right? And this also is to the left of the defendant's car,
Correct.
right? Now, you would agree with me that at this point, this area is still considered a construction zone, right?
Not that immediate
Not
area.
this main area,
Correct.
okay. But the area before it was construction zone?
Yes, sir, correct.
Okay. And so to the right of your car, which is also to the right of my client's car, there's nothing but dirt road and no lights,
Correct.
right? Okay. So starting the video at 1:47, I'm stopping it at 2:46. Officer Enriquez, I may have gone a little bit too far in the video, but again, to your left and to my client's left, we have, is it a car wash or a school?
No, that's a school.
That's a school, okay, so we passed the car wash,
Yes,
right?
sir, correct.
So the school, car wash, the shopping center, all these three locations were to the left of your vehicle and to the left of my client's vehicle, correct, that's right? To the right of the vehicle, we see nothing, right of my client's vehicle and your vehicle, we see nothing but dirt road and grass and areas that are not well lit or not able for somebody to park, right? Officer, I'm gonna show you or hand to you what's been marked as defense exhibit number 1. Are you familiar with this?
Yes,
Okay, what is it?
Texas driver handbook.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the last part? You said Texas, and then I didn't hear the second.
The Texas driver handbook.
All right, thank you.
The Texas Driver Handbook, is it published by the Texas Department of Public Safety?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Judge, may I approach the state?
Yes,
Judge, while the state confirms that that document is what it is, can I continue my questioning of
yes.
Officer Enriquez? Okay. Officer Enriquez, while the state continues to review that document, up to this point in the video, at minute 2:46, at this point, you have no reason to arrest. Right? To arrest Mr. Davis, correct?
For the amount that he's been traveling and everything, I would say yes, he's still evading.
Okay. Well, let's backtrack a little bit, okay? In the transportation code, or even under the evading arrest section, there is no set amount of limit or feet that somebody has to follow before they come to a stop, correct? Correct. All right. So in other words, just because he's gone 100 feet, 200 feet, there's nothing on the statute, on the Texas Penal Code, or the transportation code that indicates once a defendant is above 100 feet, they committed an offense, right? So up to this point, again, knowing that you check the license plate of the vehicle, you check the inside of the vehicle to make sure that Mr. Davis has a seatbelt on, right? Those are not any traffic offenses, right?
Correct, the traffic offense was prior to that.
All right, and we'll get to it. And so there's no warrant for him out, correct?
At that time, I don't know who was driving the vehicle.
Okay. There's no speeding either, correct?
Correct.
All right. He's not crossing any of the white tires or anything, correct?
Correct, he just fell into it.
All right. Got it?
Yes. Your Honor, I'm going to reject on the basis of relevance.
All right, and you, defense exhibit number 1, that is the Texas Driver Handbook?
Judge, under 8038.
No, is it the Texas Driver Handbook?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, the state's objection will be overruled. Are you seeking to admit that into evidence, or you are just asking him to review it for demonstratory purposes and for the court to take note of that as a treatise, as you would a treatise?
Judge, I'm gonna ask him to read from it, but to address any concerns, under 8038, it's a hearsay exception, and under 9025, it's self-authenticating.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Judge. Okay, Officer Enriquez, so I'm gonna show you defense exhibit number 1, particularly
And state if you need to move around to view what the defense is showing the officer, you're more than welcome to.
Lines, Judge.
particularly page 65, that talks about what a driver should do when stopped by law enforcement. Do you see that? Okay. So, and I'm going to read it to you, okay? It says, if you, the driver, are stopped by law enforcement, it is suggested you, number 1, slow down and move the vehicle safely to what side of the road?
The right side of the
The right side of the road. All right. So the school that's on the left, car wash that's on the left,
Correct.
shopping center that's on the left, none of these locations are on the right side of the road.
Correct.
Right? What's on the right side of the road is nothing but dirt, grass, and places that are, on a plan's perspective, are not safe to walk. Correct?
In his perspective.
Okay. Number 2, park your vehicle as far to the right of the main traffic lane as possible. Again, to the right, not to the left. So you were asking my client, because he did not go to the left, you're asking him to go against this Texas driver's handbook.
No,
Right.
I'm just saying those are places that he could have stopped at, along with the shoulder on the right-hand side of the road that we went across for all the way to Cleveland.
And we'll get to it, But according to this Texas driver's handbook, it only says to move to the right and park to the right. Right? It says, if available, park on the right shoulder, right? If unavailable, park on a nearby, well-lighted side street or parking lot away from high volume traffic.
Correct, which he did, yes.
Right, okay, and we'll get to that. So, starting the video at 2:46. One thing I forgot to ask, officer, at this point and for the remainder of the stop, my client turned on his hazard lights,
Correct.
right? So turning on hazard lights is indicating to you, hey, I'm in front of you. Be careful, I'm right here. Don't run into me, don't crash into me. He's warning you and other drivers, I'm right here, right?
Yes, sir. And I
Okay.
had my lights activated.
All right.
Letting him know that I was conducting a traffic
At
stop.
any point during the stop or the follow-up to the traffic stop, did my client turn off his lights?
No, he did.
At any point, did he speed up in excess of the speed limit?
No, he did.
At any point, did he weave within traffic to try to avoid you?
No, he did.
At any point during the stop, did you see him throw anything outside of the window?
No, I didn't.
So while he's following you, while you're following him, you're following not only the car that's right in front of you and never moved or never fled from you, but he also has its hazards on you, right? Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Starting the video at 2:49. Now, popping it at 3 minutes and 1 second. If you can see from the video, it's a little bit blurred up here because, but we see that my client is still driving within the lane, and to the right of it, there's what, a sidewalk,
It's a bike lane.
a bike lane?
Yes.
And then next to that bike lane, what's this cement-like structure that's on the road?
It's the sidewalk before that self-storage.
Okay. Starting the video at 3:02. From stopping the video at 3:23, and the 20 seconds that have elapsed, Officer Enriquez, again, we still see the bike lane that you're talking about, to the right of the vehicle, and also the cement sidewalk to the immediate right, that bike lane, right?
Yes.
Thus making it, I guess, unable for my clients to park, correct? With the sidewalk.
Correct.
Starting the video at 3:23. And my client is still in front of you with his hazards, notifying you where he's located.
Yes, sir. In the center of the now.
Now stopping the video, speaking at 3:57, my client goes to his right,
Correct.
right, to essentially make a right lane, right? Now, what did we say is on the Texas Driver's Handbook, when stopped by law enforcement, it tells the driver to what, slow down?
So it'd be move it to the right.
Which is what my client did. He slowed the vehicle down, right? And then he moved to the right. Is that correct? And it was done in a safe manner. Certainly did not hit sidewalk, right? Playing the video at 3:57. Probably the video at 4:28. So after he slows down and makes a right turn, Officer Enriquez, my client comes to a stop on this road, correct?
Correct, yes, sir.
What's interesting to note, Officer Enriquez, correct me if I'm wrong, is that there is no traffic on this road, right?
Correct. There was, I believe, like 2 vehicles that did pass. They had to go around. They were blocking the number 2.
Okay. But at this point, because there's no vehicles here at 4:28, right, it's safe for not only the driver, but safe for you to get out of the car, right? And then my last round of questions, officer, is at this point in time, I need to testify to the court that when asked, or when my client was asked by you to identify himself, you had no problem with him identifying himself and then following the order, correct? And the lights, your car's headlights were on, and also, is it your spotter light, what do you refer to that?
Yeah, the spotlight, yeah.
Spotlight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was on as well, right? Okay. And then the car that you talked about, right, that other car was to the left of you after, or to the left of that median dividing the roads, correct?
Correct, yeah. There was also a car leaving behind us as well.
And then at 4:37 into the video, you see my client taking what appeared to be his 2 hands out the car, right?
Correct, yes, sir.
No further questions, Judge.
Any further questions, State?
Mr. Davis, did he make reference to the handbook that Mr. Campagnos just questioned you about?
No, sir, he never did.
Do you have any evidence that he had any knowledge of that handbook or its content?
No, sir.
So whether or not he was obeying its precepts would be speculation.
Correct, yes, sir.
Now, you activated your emergency overhead lights before you reached this intersection,
Yeah,
correct?
then hoping that would pull off and pull off.
Did Mr. Davis move into the right-hand lane?
No, sir, he did not.
There were right-hand turn lane at this point.
Yes, sir, it is.
Did Mr. Davis utilize that right-hand turn lane?
No, sir, he did not.
So he had a place where he could have turned right.
I object to speculation, Your Honor.
That'll be sustained.
Were you capable of turning right and stopping at this intersection if you were of a mind?
Yes,
There a street available here?
yes, sir, to a subdivision.
So you could have turned right at this road,
Yes, sir.
but you didn't,
No, sir.
because Mr. Davis,
Correct.
see from that recording. But was that a left turn on the intersection?
No, sir, it was also a right turn as well, so maybe.
So you could have gone right,
Yes, sir, correct.
but you didn't because Mr. Davis did.
Yes, correct.
Now, at this point, does Mr. Davis move into the right-hand lane?
No, sir, it stays in the lane.
This intersection, is it possible to turn right?
Yes, sir, there's a high school across the street on the right side.
Did you turn right at this intersection?
No, sir, it was not.
Is that because Mr. Davis didn't turn right?
Correct.
And yet, what does Mr. Davis do?
He goes left.
Now, what is to Mr. Davis right?
A bike lane and a sidewalk.
Would you have been able to stop here?
Yes, sir, I would have approached from the passenger side.
You didn't stop
No, sir,
because Mr. Davis didn't stop.
correct.
Don,
It's to a self-storage. on the right.
capable of turning right into that area?
Yes, sir.
So assuming that Mr. Davis was aware of the Texas driver's handbook, there were nevertheless multiple areas where he could have turned right,
Correct, yes, sir.
but he didn't.
Correct.
All right, in just one moment, counsel. So all of the attorneys, if you're waiting to see the court after this witness, the court is taking its break. All right, you may continue.
The center meeting room.
And occupied the center median should be at is
Yes.
that's principle. At this point, is there a bicycle lane in your vehicle right?
No, sir.
Improved buildings?
No, sir.
So no safe place to stop the vehicle except in the middle of the lane.
Yes, correct.
And that's what the operator did.
Yes.
And again, if you see any lights aside from the lights off in the distance,
No, sir.
pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, defense.
Just one more, Your Honor. Officer Enriquez, probably the video at 0 seconds where you're parked to my client's immediate right.
Yes, sir.
Stop light, stop, lights. Light comes green and then both vehicles accelerate, right?
Correct.
Now, stopping the video at 20 seconds, you can see that the headlamps on my client's vehicle are illuminating the road just fine, right?
Yes, correct.
In fact, you see this light that I'm pointing at, it appears to be a light that's, headlamp, it's turned on and working effectively, right?
Yes, sir. That'd be the time.
So the traffic offering that you claim happened, you have no evidence of it, correct?
As far as the video, no, but I did it.
Like you did observe it, there's no video of it. The only video that we can see is your dash cam, which shows that the headlamps are working just fine, correct?
Correct.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, any further questions for this witness?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse Your Honor, I don't plan on.
All right, thank you so much for coming in. You may step down. All right, state, call your next witness. All right, so what I'm going to do, counsel, I know you have federal court. Counsel, we can go off the record. Are you all able to come back tomorrow? You want to come back this afternoon? Because I would like to view the state's exhibit.
I'm good coming back tomorrow if it's okay with the court, so if
Yes.
it's not being a rush to
All
attend the
right,
docket and then look at this video.
all right, so what,
Done.
yes.
I'm here to say you let me go.
Thank you. All right, so what we'll do, Mr. Jordan, we will come back tomorrow. And if you will be here at 9 a.m., that way this evening, I will have a chance to review State's Exhibit number 1 in its entirety. And then I'll come back with my decision.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is there anything else?
Not from defense counsel, Judge.
All right, thank you so much for dressing appropriately for
Hi. Okay.
all both rest and close, State,
Yes, Your Honor.
defense.
Rest and close, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much. All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused. You're welcome. And court is calling 2024 CR 5244, State versus Jordan Davis. Do I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Good afternoon, Judge. Alfonso Cabañas from Mr. Jordan Davis.
And are you Mr. Davis?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you all had a bench trial with the court, and the court, after both parties had rested and closed, the court asked for an opportunity to view State's Exhibit 1 in its entirety. The court did have a chance to review State's Exhibit 1 in its entirety, so the court will hear closing arguments. State?
Your Honor, does the state typically not give closing arguments in trial following the defense?
If they want to. My understanding from speaking with you off the record that the defense didn't really want to do a closing. So that's why I was asking you for your closing.
Your
But
Honor,
if that's,
I don't know whether defense counsel wanted to or not. But
All right.
I-
defense, do you want to get closing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, then I'll hear your closing.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, as the court was aware during cross-examination a couple of days ago, the only officer that stopped Mr. Davis testified that the alleged traffic offense, that he saw being committed was not recorded. I asked him about, when I talked and described as to the reason for the stop, he initially said, well, his headlamps were turned off, or he didn't have the number of requisite headlamps as per the transportation code. When he confirmed on the stand that as per the transportation code, my client had more than two, he had three functioning headlamps, so much so that during the video, if the court recalls, the officer testifies that the headlamps in my client's car were working. Therefore, Judge, we have testimony from the officer that the alleged traffic offense of not having any functioning headlights is completely false. Secondly, Judge, after we move on from that point, the officer goes on a narrative in which he's trying to tell the court what he, the officer, would do in this situation. The transportation code and the penal code don't read that way. The transportation code and the penal code read that my client or the individual who's alleged to have been committing an evading offense needs to be clearly shown as evading law enforcement. If the court recalls from the video, during the entire length of the officer following my client doesn't speed, doesn't turn off his lights, does not drive in excess of the speed limit, does not drive under the speed limit, does not avoid traffic, does not flee from the officer. Additionally, my client goes so much as to take the extra step and notify the officer by turning on his hazard lights. The officer makes it a point to say that there were multiple shopping locations or shopping centers on the left side of the highway in which my client could have turned. Well, Judge, then I questioned the officer on Texas DPS, the driving manual, which states that when being followed by law enforcement, a driver has to stop, or rather must go to the right and stop in a place that's well lit and safe, not only for himself, but law enforcement behind him. So when I questioned the officer as to whether or not my client could have stopped on the right, being that it's a construction zone, being that there was nothing but grass and dirt and it was not lit, the officer said, well, I don't know, but I could have stopped there. As we proceed through the stop, or through the video, Your Honor, again, you continue to see that at no point in time did my client commit any additional traffic offenses other than the alleged traffic offense, which again was not recorded. The officer testified that my client was driving a vehicle that was not stolen. He was driving a vehicle with a seatbelt on. There was nothing that my client was doing as he was driving that warranted a traffic stop. As the officer continues to follow my client with his hazard lights turns to the right as he should, and then parks in an area where the officer testified there's no cars coming back and forth, thereby making it safe for my client and law enforcement to continue this interaction. And so the point of this, Your Honor, is that at no point in time did my client evade any arrest or detention. My client simply drove to find a place to stop. We know that he did not flee. We know that he didn't even intend to evade arrest or detention. He was simply looking for a safe place to stop. And as he was doing so, he notified the officer behind him by turning his hazard lights and maintaining a safe rate of speed. And for those reasons, Your Honor, I ask the court to find my client not guilty of the offense of evading arrest or detention.
All right. State.
Defense counsel's arguments are well made, but at certain points logically inconsistent and at other points irrelevant. Mr. Cabañas points out that the deputy's testimony was that Mr. Davis had 3 headlights on. Now, if Mr. Cabañas means this to mean that the high beams were on, then Mr. Davis committed an offense by having his high beams on within 300 feet of oncoming traffic, in which case Mr. Davis committed an offense of the transportation code.
Was there oncoming traffic?
There was, Your Honor. And
Okay.
we'll be able to see it from the officer's dash cam recording. So Deputy Enriquez did have reasonable suspicion to detain the vehicle. Moreover, case law is clear. Under Lopez v. State, the Court of Appeals for San Antonio stated that although the officers agreed that Lopez was not accelerating from them or driving recklessly after exiting the highway, fleeing is anything less than prompt compliance with an officer's direction to stop, and fleeing slowly is still fleeing. So the fact that Mr. Davis did not speed or travel under the speed limit, the fact that he did not weave in and out of traffic, the fact that he was wearing his seatbelt, these are all very interesting assertions, but they are not relevant to the court's determination of whether he evaded arrest or detention. Finally, there's been no evidence introduced that Mr. Davis was actually following the Texas DPS handbook. There's been no evidence introduced that he's ever read it. There's been no evidence introduced that he was even vaguely aware of it. And so Mr. Cabaños' reliance on this Texas DPS handbook is misplaced because there's no evidence that Mr. Davis was actually following its advice. Even if he were, there were multiple areas for Mr. Davis to stop. The area in which he stopped was not a well-lit place. Deputy Enriquez testified that after the vehicle came to a stop, other vehicles had to go around it. And it's because where Mr. Davis stopped was on a 2-lane road with no bike lane or improved shoulder for him to move into. And so the only place that he could stop was in the lane. So for those reasons, the court should find him guilty.
All right, so you're saying that there is no proof that he knew what was in the Texas driver's handbook, and therefore that should be disregarded? The officer's testimony on the, with regards to the Texas driver's handbook?
The officer's testimony is not evidence that Mr. Davis.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're saying that there's no evidence that he knew about the rules for the Texas driver's handbook.
Correct.
And how is that relevant? Because does the defense doesn't have to present any evidence, correct?
Correct. The defense does not need to present any evidence, but if the defense wants to rely on this DPS handbook for the proposition that Mr. Davis was obeying its advice, then there should be some evidence that he was at least aware of it, much less that he read it and that he obeyed it. And there's been no evidence.
All right. All right, the court has reviewed State's Exhibit number 1 in its entirety. I've heard both parties' argument. As both parties are aware, argument is not testimony, it's not the law, it's just your argument. After reviewing everything, listening to the testimony and seeing State's Exhibit number 1, the court will find the defendant not guilty. Is there anything else from either side?
Not from defense counsel.
Okay, thank you. If you will give this to the court reporter, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's